everyone, my name is Chloe and welcome to my December book haul revisit. So if you haven't seen one of these videos, this is not reinventing the wheel. I've seen a lot of people do it, but I decided to go back to my first year on YouTube, and that was that was 2020. I started in December of 19, and so 2020 was my first full year on YouTube, which by golly, what a great year to be on YouTube because we were stuck at home and there was nothing else to do. But anyway, so I'm going back to the months in 2020 that I hauled these books to see, am I actually reading the books that I'm hauling? And so far, I think I started this project in maybe May, and so far they have been pretty successful. This is the one that I think may get me. I think this one may get me, guys, because the thumbnail says I hauled 61 books. 61 books in December 2020. I don't know if you can hear, but my husband is laughing off camera. It's funny, but it's not. The reason why is because we lived in a different city at this time. And there was a city close by that had, I think it was every Friday or the first Friday of every month or something. It was fill a bag for $5 or something. I think it was the first of every month or something. I don't know. And at that time in December 2020, I had a 2-year-old and a 6-month-old. And so it was easy. Like that would be our Friday outing for that week or whatever. So we would go to this place, and just so happened, like, they had a box of bags that you could choose from, and somebody had gone to Hobby Lobby or something and bought a painting or something. So there was this bag that was huge, and I filled it for $5, and I was like fully expecting to pay at least 10 or 15, I don't know, but I filled it half with my books, half with kids' books. Also, we had some Christmas haul, so I'm really right here justifying why I hauled 61 books in a month, which really necessary? I think not. Fun? Yes. Now it's going to be really telling 3 years later how many of these have I actually read. So as always, we are going to get into the footage, see what's going on, and then I will try to read them all in this and vlog it. So let's just get to the footage, see what 61 books I hauled. Hopefully there were a lot of books that I either had already read and wanted copies for my shelf, or that I've since read. We'll see. So let's get into it. The first is the Hunger Games trilogy. So she gave me this exact box set. It has all 3. They're in great condition. I loved them, and I didn't own them, so I'm really excited to own them. Then The Secret Life of Bees by Sue Monk Kidd. I have also read this one and really enjoyed it. The erotic I read this with Rainey from Rainy Day Reads. Rainey, do you remember this book? This woman, she is of Indian descent, but she decides she wants to live in a more Western world. However, she starts taking this job as a creative writing teacher in the Indian community, and so these older women join her class and bring erotica to the class. And so she kind of uses literature as a way of liberating them and empowering them, and I am really excited. Like, I hope this book doesn't get too into the erotica, but we'll see how it goes. My friend is a very strong Christian, so I kind of doubt it does, but I don't really know. Then this one is one for my sister, Christmas at the Holiday House by RaeAnne Thayne. And this one, I think, is about this nurse who is hired to take care of somebody's grandma. And the grandma's like, listen, I don't need help. Goes on this dating service that puts her on 12 blind dates. I've heard it's really cute. A lot of people love this and are reading this, so I'm excited to read it. Then I've read this and loved it. By Josie Silver. This one was from a subscriber, and you guys, I love this book. So having a copy on my shelf was just so exciting. Then Southern Storms by Brittainy Cherry. This is from Morgan from Nothing Better Than a Book, and she sent this to me, and I love Brittainy Cherry. You guys, I love her, love her, love her, and so I was so excited to have a copy of this. Then Gods in Alabama by Joshilyn Jackson. So Karen from Rather Be Reading sent me this because she said she thought I would really like Joshilyn Jackson. And so by the time this goes out, you will have seen that I have already read this. I gave it 3 stars. This is Joshilyn Jackson's debut, and it's about a girl who says, like, hey, God, she was a part of this, like, murder. We are going to buddy read this, I think, in February.
Then I got Layla by
Read
Colleen Hoover
it.
from a wonderful
Goodness
subscriber.
gracious, I'm nailing it.
This, and I cannot wait to read this. So this is, I think, her dive into paranormal. Honestly, I love Colleen Hoover so much. I don't even care. In-laws.
Okay,
and this woman actually lives
just read this for
close
Nonfiction
to
November.
them, and in their small town in Kansas. And so it's a memoir. It's got pictures. I love World War II stuff, so I'm excited to give it a shot. Then my grandmother, she went on my wish list, and somehow somebody must have helped her, but she picked a bunch of books off my wish list. So the first is Guilty Wives by James Patterson. It just makes me feel accomplished having.
Oh.
Now they're not necessarily my taste. I still really like to read them for like nostalgia purposes, and it just makes me feel accomplished having the short chapters. So she got me this one. She also got me Maybe Now, as well as Maybe Not. I didn't put a picture of that, but these are both a part of the Maybe Someday series by Colleen Hoover, as well as Heartbones.
I have read that one.
I love Colleen Hoover, and I don't own very many of her, or I didn't own very many of hers. So she really helped me out with that. So that is the end of the gifts. This month, I was also sent 4 books by the publishers. So thank you to Forever and Grand Central for sending these books, because I am so excited for these. So the first one is A Mother's Goodbye.
I have read this and loved it so darn much.
I think she's a teenager, maybe a young mom who is pregnant, and she knows, like, I cannot take care of this kid. So she can't take care of this kid. And
okay, I haven't read this
one. I don't know. Can their love survive the impossible? We will see. Then The Book of Moods.
I have read this one.
How I turned my worst emotions into my best life by Lauren Martin.
I really like this.
This one, I think, is just going to be so good, and hopefully some things
that
are eye-opening that people have to deal with all the time that my white privilege allows me to not experience. I really hope this will help me to be a better ally. So those are the 4 books that I got from publishers. Now let's get into all of the ones that I bought. The first ones I'm going to show you are from that Facebook sale. So this girl was selling her entire lot, and she said, if you buy 10, and honestly, I don't know really anything about this, but so a sequel to A Dog's Purpose. I read that one, really enjoyed it, so I figured I would pick this one up. Then we've got The Secret She Keeps by Caletti, and honestly, I don't know really anything about this, but I know I read In a Heart and a Body and a World by Caletti and loved it, so I picked this one up. Then The Garden of Happy Endings by Barbara O'Neill. I have also read a Barbara O'Neill and enjoyed it. This one I'm a little nervous about, because this is about like 2 sisters. One, I think, is a reverend. The other is married to like a criminal. And together they like start this community garden. And it says something on the back about like kind of the beautiful poetic writing. And I don't really love that style of writing. So we'll see. Then I got Unbroken by Laura Hillenbrand, and this is the story of an Olympic athlete who became a pilot in World War II. So I really Ellen Hillenbrand, so perhaps her book club picked this up
probably
a couple
stop
years
skipping.
ago.
No, that's probably very
and I really wanted to pick it up then, so I've like had my eye out, and so this was the perfect chance to grab it. Then we have The Love Season by Ellen Hillenbrand, and this one also I just read and gave like 2.5 stars. Didn't love it, but I typically love Ellen Hillenbrand, so this one kind of surprised me. Then When in Doubt, Add Butter by Beth Harbison. I love Beth Harbison for her women's fiction, and this one just sounds like a bunch of women bonding over food, and I really love that, so we'll see. Learning to Swim by Sarah Henry. This one I think is about a woman who sees this little boy like drowning or something, and so she goes to save him and then pulls him out and discovers that he speaks French and nobody's looking for him. So I don't know what's going on, but that sounds really intriguing. Then I Let You Go by Claire McIntosh. I've heard nothing but good things about this. This is about a woman who I think her son is maybe killed in a hit and run, so it's her story as well as like a cop trying to figure out what's going on. So Claire McIntosh, I've heard good things. Can't wait. Just Between Us by Rebecca Drake.
I think I've read this one.
I think it's just about like suburban women, and all of them have secrets. And I love like domestic thrillers like that are my bread and butter, so I love it. Where'd You Go,
I've read
Bernadette?
this,
Now, this
did
one
not
I
love
think is
it.
about a mother and daughter, and the mom is agoraphobic, and she asks the daughter, like, what does she want for high school graduation or something, and she says she wants to go to Antarctica, so they do, and I think it's about just learning to give grace to this kind of kooky mother. I don't really know. This used to be super hyped, and I didn't actually hear that much about it. I think it's a movie now, so I don't know. We'll see. So those are the 10 I got on Facebook. Now we're going to get into the library book sale books. So like I said, I think there's 20 of them. So I'll go through them relatively quick and we'll just show you what I got. So the first few are either YA or new adult. Got Bad for You by Abby Glines.
Ooh, I unhauled that without reading
one
it.
of Abby Glines. This is a part of her Seabreeze series, and I've read the first one in that, and I think they're all companions. This one's like number 6, so I'm guessing it's about a rock star. I don't really know. They're good, like, again, kind of palate cleansers, and you know what you're going to get. It's a YA, or a new adult, I think, kind of romance. I don't know. We'll see. Then I got Vincent Brothers, which is the first in, maybe the second, I don't know, in her Vincent Boys series. And again, we'll just give it a shot. I didn't actually love that one in the Seabreeze series, but I kept it on my shelf. So I don't know. We'll see if I like these. These might have been an impulse grab. Then I've got Playing Her by Holly Schindler. This is about a girl who she's about to go to college on like this basketball scholarship, and then she gets hurt, so her dad makes her go to like a rehab in the summer. And I think it's a love triangle between her boyfriend and her trainer. I don't really know. But I love that the girl is the athlete, and it's not like male athletes, although the trainer probably is, and maybe her boyfriend is too, I don't know. But I just love like female athletes. I love sports romance, and especially that it's the female. Then I got Ready or Not by Meg Cabot. This one is an All-American Girl novel, I think is what it's called. Yeah, All-American Girl. I read the first one in the series. It's about a girl who starts dating the president's son, so this is just the next in the series. Then Wing Wish by Kristen Harmel. So Kristen Harmel writes all sorts of stuff, YA, adult, all sorts of stuff. This is about a pop star, I think, or an actress, or I think it's a pop star, who is just tired of living for everybody else, and so she just like lets it all go, gets in a car, and lives for her. So I can't wait to see what this is about. This one is also like really like big margins, and I think this will be a very, very quick read. The Queen of Everything by Deb Caletti. Again, don't know what this is about. I love Deb Caletti. Read this one. I think she does like harder hitting YA, so I'm excited to read it. What Happened to Goodbye by Sarah Desson. Sarah Desson is one of the like OG YA authors for me, and I typically really like her books. This one I think is about a girl who moves around a whole lot, and then finally she stays in one place and has to put down roots, and so she's standing on a suitcase. What Happens to Goodbye, I'm guessing it's her figuring out how to like actually stay somewhere. Then the Juliet Club. Have not read this one. This is by Suzanne Harper, and this is about a girl who I think she goes to Europe for the summer and starts writing for the Juliet Club. They like write or answer love letters. So I don't know. I love like European travel novels, so that's exciting. Getting Over Garrett Delaney by Abby McDonald. Not sure what this is about, but I think it's about this girl, her best friend's guy, and then she like has a crush on him, but he goes to camp or something and meets another girl, and so it's that story. Give Me a Call by Sarah Lanowski. I think I read that one with Morgan. This one, ironically, I just saw this morning that Morgan from Nothing Better Than a Book was unhauling this without reading it because she said she just wasn't quite interested. But it's about a girl who I think like her boyfriend breaks up with her, like her world kind of implodes, and then she finds this phone that she's able to talk to herself from like 4 years ago. And so before it all began, and just kind of redo things. And Landline by Rainbow Rowell is one of my favorite. Like I really enjoy that book. And so I like am getting Landline vibes. I don't know. This could be done either really well or really not well. The fact that like my expectation and my comparison is Landline maybe is going to do this a disservice, but her and I are going to buddy read it at the end of the month. Then we've got Three Willows by Amber Shares. This is like 4.5 in the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants series, but this is like over 300 pages, so I don't know why it's the adult one. So this is Blossom Street by Debbie Macomber. And I love the Blossom Street series. I have quite a few of them on my shelf, but this is one I didn't have, so I picked that up. Then we've got What She Wants by Sheila Roberts. Sheila haven't read, also part of a series. And I have a handful of those on my shelf, so this is just one of those. Time Between Us by Tamara Ireland Stone. This one is about a woman who meets this guy, and then it's like, was he actually real? Was he not? I'm guessing they're going to be from different times. I like time travel books and like just seeing how they make that work. And I've heard good things about Ireland Stone. I've read one from her, but I can't remember what it was. So yeah, we'll see. Then Every Boy's Got One. So I think this is actually like a new adult maybe, but this is about two people who, it's like a hate to love. They have to go to their friend's wedding of women who have survived,
I've read this one.
I don't know that it was necessarily like murder, but have survived abuse, and then now they are accused of maybe committing a murder. The Girl Before by J.P. Delaney. I have heard a lot of good things about this and J.P. Delaney in general, so when I saw this, I had to grab it. We Were the Lucky Ones by Georgia Hunter. This, I think, is about a family somewhere in Europe. I can't remember where, right before World War II starts, and just their experience through it. So I'm excited to see that. Suzanne's Diary for Nicholas. This one I already had read. And this one is about a woman who is writing a letter or a diary to her son about her and the dad's relationship. This one I've also already read, If You Could See Me Now by Cecilia Hearn. I don't remember 100% what this is about, but it's about, like, this woman who she's trying to run a business. She gets custody of her nephew. Like, it's just a women's fiction, kind of chick lit, I think, kind of fun book, but it's been years since I've read it. And truthfully, I grabbed this not knowing that I had already read it, just knowing that I liked Cecilia Hearn, so maybe due for a reread. So that is everything.
Okay, so now here's the final tally. I was right about all the ones that I said I've read and have not read. Thankfully, because I was like, well, that's not 61 books. Well, the 61 included the unhaul, so that's good. There's only 51 that I hauled, so pat on the back for that, I guess. But I read 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 41 out of 51. That is actually fantastic. I'm very proud. And I did not read 8 yet, and 2 I unhauled without reading, which is very uncommon for me, but I like, even at the time I said I was a little hesitant about them, and just new adult, especially with like somewhat risque covers, just I know I'm not gonna like it, so I just unhauled those without reading them. So of the 8 that I have not read, let's see. So we've got maybe now and maybe not, which is like number 1.5 and 2, I think, of Colleen Hoover's maybe now. Is that what it is? Maybe not, maybe now, maybe someday. Is that what the first one is? So if I read that, I'm going to have to read the first one as well and then read those. But I think I probably will, since it's just 2 books and a novella. I think that would be good, because if not now, then when am I ever going to do that? Then Our Last Goodbye by Shirley Dickson. The Secrets She Keeps by Deb Caletti. Unbroken by Laura Hillenbrand. The Juliet Club by Suzanne Harper. Blossom Street Brides by Debbie Macomber. And What She Wants by Sheila Roberts. So those last 2, Blossom Street Brides, I think is like number 10, maybe, in the Blossom Street series, and I've read the first 5. So I'm not going to read that now, because that would mean reading literally 10 books. It's been years since I've read the Blossom Street series, so I think like I would need to start them again. And from what I remember, it is a series, like, you can read them out of order. They're all contemporary romance that you can read out of order, but the characters are pretty interconnected. The city is pretty interconnected, so I feel like I need to read those in order. So I don't think I'm going to read that one. And then What She Wants, let's just see together what that is. What She Wants, because I think that's late in the series too. What She Wants by Sheila Roberts. It's number 3 in her Icicle Falls series, which I have read part of. But again, I think I would need to reread to know if I need to read them in order. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know that I'm going to read that one either. I need to like do some thinking about that, honestly, because is there any point in keeping any of them on my shelves if I'm not going to if I'm not going to try to own the entire series? I don't know. And like, I do own the entire Cedar Cove series, and that seems kind of comforting, because I really liked that series when I read it. It's been 15 years, but when I read it, I really liked it. And so, I would like to know that I could reread that, and I could see myself doing the same with Blossom Street and maybe Life in Icicle Falls. It's been too many years since I've read that one, so I'm not sure. So I need to do some thinking on if I'm going to keep those anyway, because I like, man, if I'm not going to own the whole series, what's the point in having random ones? We'll see. But I don't think I'm going to read them. So that's going to be a topic to be tabled for another day. So out of 8 that I have not read, I'm going to attempt to read 6. Okay? Can we do this? Can I read 6 in December? We're going to try. So stay tuned, see if I can get it done. Hey everyone, so I finished the first book for this book haul revisit, and I read Maybe Someday by Colleen Hoover. And you guys, I've heard a lot of terrible things about this book, and I don't know what to rate it, because, so, main character, hated him. Plot, really didn't care for it. But the writing style and my entertainment and my engagement was still high. Like, Colleen Hoover knows how to hook you, even with unlikable characters and a plot you don't root for. Like, somehow I was still hooked. And so, I'm gonna probably give it a 3-star, I guess. So, the premise of this book is that it's about Sydney and Ridge. And they meet, like, on... Hold on one second. Okay, so they meet and because they both live in the same apartment complex or whatever, and they are like, they have balconies that they can see each other. He plays music and she's kind of like, you know, whatever. So they lock eyes, exchange phone numbers, and start texting. So he knows that her boyfriend is cheating with her best friend, and so it takes him a while, but then he tells her. And so she wants to move out, obviously, and so she moves in with him and his roommates. And it's their, like, musical relationship as well as their friendship, which is blossoming into more. It's a deep connection, etc., etc. But we find out he has a girlfriend, and he has a girlfriend that he's very committed to. Ridge is deaf, and so he can't hear the music that he's playing and stuff. And his girlfriend is deaf and has a terminal illness. And so they are like, he makes it clear he is like with her. And yet we are supposed to be convinced that he's falling in love with 2 people in totally different ways. And it's just terrible. It is terrible. He is, I mean, he's pretty honest about it, but he's really dragging both these girls along. And it is terrible. And then, I mean, gosh, stuff happens, and I really didn't like our female character either. She's, I mean, they're young-ish. They're, like, I think in their 20s, so I would call this, like, new adult. But, like, she was acting like 14, and the first guy that ever's paid attention to her. It was terrible. It was terrible. Terrible. So now I'm going to read Maybe Not, which is the prequel, or sequel, or goodness gracious, the little novella in between 1 and 2. Which I think is from one of his roommates' perspectives, like his life throughout that, not necessarily his perspective on what we just read, but I might finish out the series just because, but I definitely don't think I will be keeping this series on my shelf, so maybe, I don't know, I'll let you know. I'm listening to Maybe Not right now on audio, and I will let you know what I think of it. It's like 4 hours on audio, and I listen at 2 times speed, so not going to take me long, and then we'll decide if I'm going to read the last one or not, so we'll see. All right, well, it's later in the day, and I am in the kitchen again making another meal. If you can hear, my baby is destroying my cabinets behind me, but I have finished Maybe Not, and I hated it. You guys, this is about Ridge's roommate. Ridge from the first one. It's his roommate. He's got a male and female roommate, and they're like not together, but kind of together, and it's kind of their story. But it's literally just this guy's like lustful porn addiction, their steamy times. It was terrible. Hated it. I'm going to start the last one, and I don't know if I will finish it or not, but I'll let you know. We'll see. So definitely a steamy novella that is very unnecessary in my opinion. It adds one thing to the storyline, kind of, but nope, that's it. So yeah, that's it. Everyone, so I have finished the series. I read Maybe Now. And I liked it better than either of the other 2s because we're following both girls. So the girl that Ridge ends up with and the girl that he doesn't, and we're following both of them and their stories and their romances and all that kind of stuff. And because the romance, I guess, is already established, it's better, even though, like, you know the history of it. So I like that. Like, there's no cheating in this book. All the relationships are developed, and you're just watching them grow. They're not, like, new relationships or anything. So I guess that was better. It's more just watching the life. You get a few different perspectives. Again, it's the second in a series, so it's kind of hard for me to say a whole lot. But I liked it, and I like I said, I like this better than any of the others, but not enough to keep the series on my shelf. So that's it. So maybe 3.5 star on that one. Definitely the best, but the best of the worst. Anyway. So sayonara to those two. Those are two more off my shelf. Now I'm reading The Secret She Keeps by Deb Caletti, and this is an interesting one, and it has very, very low ratings on Goodreads. It's like a 3.2 or something, so I've been really cautious to pick it up, like really hesitant to pick it up, and I can see why. I haven't really read a lot of reviews, but it is a dual timeline, so it's about... I'm forgetting the main characters' names. I'm like 60 pages in, and I'm having to read it either physically or on ebook. Because there's no audio copy, at least that I know of. And so, but I can't remember her name. Let me pause and find her name because it'll make it a lot easier to chat about the book. Okay, her name is Callie. So Callie is married. Her kids are older, like I think they're, young adults. And she finds a business card in her husband's pocket. And she knows he lies about whose it is. And so she immediately assumes he's cheating. And she finds out that her elderly aunt is having some problems. So she goes to this ranch where her aunt lives to kind of help out. The aunt's name is Nash. Now, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, Nash lived on this ranch, and it was a divorce ranch, which where people, I guess, went to get like quickie divorces. I don't really know. And so as Callie is there, we're learning more from Nash's perspective when she was younger about what was going on there, kind of secrets that have been kept there, all that kind of stuff. So it's told in dual timelines of now Callie going back to the ranch and what happened at the ranch many years ago. And what happened at the ranch many years ago is very confusing, like very unclear. You are getting a lot of characters thrown at you, and it's like all these women who are at the ranch trying to get divorced. There's some that are pregnant, there's some that have newborns, all this thing, and they're trying to get divorced. And like, I don't really understand how it's a divorce ranch. I don't get it. And like, so I'm way more interested in Callie's timeline, present day, and we're finding out more about what her husband is actually doing and all that kind of stuff. And so I'm interested in that, and I'm interested in her relationship with her aunt now. But the past timeline is really confusing. And I think a couple other reviews that I read said they did not like the past timeline. And I'm wondering if that's why. I need to dive more into reviews, I guess. But I am like 60 pages in, and it's like to the point where I'm confused in that past timeline, which means when it switches to that timeline, I'm kind of like zoning out and having a hard time like maintaining engagement. So it's not helping my confusion. So I'm going to try to read it a little slower. But you guys, I have a lot of books that I really want to get through this month, and I don't like that these are slowing me down. So, I don't plan to DNF it now, but maybe. We'll see. I'll check in later. Hey everyone, so it's a little bit later and like a few days, weeks, I don't know. It's December 16th, and you guys, I am in the slump of all slumps. I am not liking anything I'm reading, and it's like one of those chicken and the egg situations. Am I not liking what I'm reading, so my mood is bad, or is my mood bad, so then I'm not liking what I'm reading? I don't really know, but I finished The Secret She Keeps by Deb Caletti. Didn't like it. 2 stars. I didn't care at all about the past timeline. The whole divorce ranch thing, like, I didn't understand it. I just wasn't into these characters. It was very just kind of detached. I didn't like this at all. So, sorry. Then I picked up Unbroken by Laura Hillenbrand, and this one has huge high ratings. So many people I know and love and trust loved this book, and I didn't. There's one person, Glenda, she didn't like this either. So I texted her and was like, hey, why did you not like this? Because for me, this book what this book is about, it is a true story about a man in World War II. But prior to World War II, he was like an Olympic record-breaking runner. He ran a 4-minute mile, was just shattering all these records, all these things. Then he gets drafted into the Air Force, and it's his experience throughout World War II. And you guys, it is graphic, it is brutal, but like my reading experience is what I did not like. His story in and of itself is crazy. It's astonishing. It's intriguing. it's like, having that, like the first part talks about his running career, and I am not a 4-minute miler, guys. I'm not a runner like that, but I love to run. And so hearing his story, like, even though it's a very detailed, somewhat detached writing style, or just somewhat like dry writing style, I guess, I kind of became endeared to him. But then, like, just reading the book, it would take these little tangents of things that I was like, this is just too much for me. It's too graphic. I just didn't like it. And I mean, it's like, there's references. This whole back is, like references, meanings, that kind of stuff. So this is very, like, she did her research about this man. And there's just a lot, like, this is all true. And so I'm not saying I don't care to hear about his story, because I definitely do. Just the writing style of this and my experience reading this was not pleasant. So, didn't love that one. So now I have, like, stuff to read physically, and all of that. And I'm not in the mood. I'm not in the mood to do anything. And so I don't know what'll happen here. We have 2 weeks left in the year. Well, 2 weeks and 1 day. So, we'll see. I'm going to try to put this video out somewhere near the end of the month. I don't know how many books we have left. Not very many. I'm just really not in the reading mood. And even books, like right now I'm listening to an Advent book, which you'll probably, I don't know, that'll come out on the 24th. So will you see this or that first? I don't really know. I'm assuming probably that. And I'm really enjoying it, but I'm not wanting to pick it up because I'm just not in the mood. So I don't want to not like it. Like, I don't want to pick it up and be zoning out because I'm just not in the mood. So you guys, let me know. I don't know. Does this ever happen to you? I wonder if it's the pressure of, like, having such a big TBR for December, because I'm reading other stuff too that was on my TBR. So is it that, or am I just picking books that I don't love? I'm really glad I'm getting these two off my shelves, because these have been sitting there for, a hot minute, 3 years, 4 years, whatever. So yeah, hopefully I will update soon with good news, and the slump will be over. Trying all the slump busters right now, so we'll see. Hey everyone, so first of all, happy Merry December 23rd. I like to call it Merry Adam, because it's Merry Eve, right before Eve. You get it? Right before Eve was Adam. Tomorrow's Christmas Eve, today's Christmas Adam. You get it? Anyway, so today is that, and we are actually about to go to church, because it's like 5 o'clock, 4:30 at night, and we're about to go to church, because they are having, like, services Saturday. Like, it's weird. The churches around here have been doing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday services. So we're going to go to our regular church tomorrow on Christmas Eve, but we're going to a different church tonight, of a church where we're friends with the pastor. And so it's going to be just kind of a fun thing, and it's like a family service, so our kids will be with us. So we'll see how that goes. But I finally finished the last 2 books. So I finished Our Last Goodbye by Shirley Dickson a couple days ago, and just haven't had a chance to get on an update because it's just been madness. But so it was good. I'm giving it 3 stars. It wasn't exceptional for me. This is in 1943, I think, somewhere in the middle of World War II. This gal witnesses her mother be run over by a bus, and her life is understandably thrown into a tailspin. And so she decides to become a nurse. And, she becomes a nurse. We get to see a lot of that. She meets this guy named Richard. Her name is May. She meets this guy named Richard. There's a lot of, the romance is there, and then there's a lot of familial drama as far as her brother is off, he's little, so he got sent off somewhere where it would be safe during the war, and so there's some stuff about that. Her best friend and she kind of have a falling out. So there's a lot, like, this is a romance, but it almost toes that line of women's fiction, but it's historical anyway, but because it is, it's a little bit of both. It's a little all-encompassing of her life. I'm not being very eloquent, but it's all-encompassing. And my biggest complaint about this book is just the pacing. It is really quick at the beginning. You really get to know her, really get to, fall for her story. Then it really lags with a lot of her, nursing, getting to involved in the nursing, and even the relationship between her and Richard as it was developing. I was like, wah, wah. And then with 60 pages left, it just went crazy. The drama was finally there. And not that there wasn't drama throughout, because this is set in World War II. It's kind of, the situation is drama, and maybe trauma is a better word than drama, but action. I don't know. And it was just okay. You know, like I felt like she was using the context as a crutch, whereas really the story itself had nothing to do with the war for the majority of it. So set in present time without the like background of tension, there would have been like not a lot of tension. And it was just okay. The pacing was okay. I really liked the beginning. I really liked the end. The rest was just okay. So then I finished The Juliet Club by Suzanne Harper. And you guys, I haven't updated because it took me like 4 sittings to read like 25 pages. I may be exaggerating, but I was just reading it slowly. And then finally yesterday, I got the chance to read, not yesterday, a couple days ago, I got the chance to read like 100 pages because it's really quick. It's YA. And so then I just finished it yesterday. And it was very okay. Granted, I'm a 34-year-old woman reading a YA novel. So this is about a YA about this gal who she is a little bit more serious than her friend group, a lot more skeptical of love. And, you know, she's kind of been jaded before. So she's a lot more skeptical, a little more serious in her friend group. There's 3 of them. And then her mom and dad are, I don't think they're together, but they are together. Maybe, I don't know. But they're very, very different. And that causes a lot of tension and they don't always jive. So there's a lot of kind of just unrest in her life, and so she gets this opportunity to go to Paris for a month and study Shakespeare. And she's going to Verona, where Romeo and Juliet took place, and so she's going to study Shakespeare. The lead of the program is her dad's like arch nemesis, because her dad's in the Shakespeare world and stuff. And so she goes and meets this arch nemesis' son. And so there's like a fake dating romance kind of thing there. She also joins the Juliet Club, which is when they write letters, people write letters to Juliet, and they respond. And so like, I think that's kind of weird that a bunch of teenagers are responding. Like, I guess they understand the angst and stuff, but like, I don't know, not exactly who I want love advice from. But anyway, so yeah, that's that. And then, I mean, meanwhile, you're getting it. It's like act 1, scene 1, act 2, scene, you know, whatever. So that was kind of a interesting twist, I guess, on it. She's also writing letters to her 2 best friends back home. And so then we're getting their kind of responses. And it was all just fine. It was fine. I would say like 2 stars. I was very happy to just skim it and be done. It was not, I've read much better YA, but again, I'm a 34-year-old lady saying that. So there's that. That is everything. I'm unhauling most of those. So getting them off my shelves, which is great. Yeah, the 2 that were a part of a series, I'm like kind of in an existential crisis about, because should I even keep them if I'm not going to own the entire series? I really like the Blossom Street books, but I have not read all the way, and like I feel like now I would kind of need to restart to even read them all. And am I going to own all 10 or 12 or whatever? I don't know. I do own the entire Cedar Cove series, so maybe if I read this, I don't know. And then same with the other one. Am I going to own that entire series? I don't know. And this is the finale, I think. So, anyway, that is my thoughts on that. I'm mildly successful. I feel a little meh. I don't feel quite as like pat myself on the back as I have in previous months, but I'm glad that I got most of them read, and definitely cleared some out. So sounds good to me. So that is it. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.